Well, building on the topic from yesterday afternoon's video relative to things looking ominous, we got a real dose of reality today when literally all markets across the board, for the most part, crashed. I will start by saying thank you for watching today and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Let me just read you quickly from CNBC, just the top, let's say, 5 or 6 titles of the articles after the market just closed about 35 minutes ago. Dow tumbles nearly 900 points. NASDAQ suffers worst day since 2022 as recession fears erupt. S&P 500 correction to deepen. Mag 7 to underperform according to Stockton. Tesla shares plunge 15%, suffering steepest drop in 5 years. Nvidia down 30% from high as tech-led sell-off hits Magnificent Seven. And lastly, the topic that I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into, Trump says transition period likely for economy and you can't watch stocks. You heard me correctly. Trump says you can't watch stocks. You know, I received some comments to yesterday's video that, all Trump cared about was bolstering the stock market. And I will say this, in Trump's first term, he often would come out, at the end of the trading day and make comments about the stock market going up and how that was kind of the barometer on how good the economy was. And I will tell you this, I never liked that. I didn't like the President of the United States, I would say it about any president, pumping the market, okay, or using it as a barometer of the economy. Because if you guys think that the stock market is a fair indicator of, let's say, fair value and economic conditions, I would beg to differ with that. So for those of you in the comment yesterday or comments that said that Trump only cares about keeping the stock market high for his wealthy buddies, this seems to indicate that he is saying exactly the opposite. And it also feeds into the title for today's video, which is, is the current administration, engineering a recession or a crash? So let me just share some of the, and we'll delve into that in a second, but let me just share with you the actual stats from today's ugly mess. Dow Jones fell 890 points, down 2.08%. At one point, the Dow was down over 1,100 points from what I saw. S&P fell 155 points, or 2.69%. The NASDAQ fell 727 points, 4%. NASDAQ just got creamed. Let's talk about cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin. And again, I'm going off just the CNBC blurbs here as of the close. Coinbase, some others, have different running stats on the cryptos. But according to CNBC, crypto was down almost 5%, $3,940 at $78,726. I did see it in the 78,000 range. I think as of recording the video, it's bounced a little bit, but it hasn't retaken 80,000. Ethereum was down 8%. Solana was down 7%. I saw XRP was also down 4 or 5%. But for the crypto people, XRP, it held $2. I never saw it go below 2. If you did see that, and if you're into the cryptocurrencies, let me know. Gold and silver fell. I discussed this on yesterday's video, and I've mentioned this before. When there is a liquidity, a pull or a demand for liquidity, people sell gold and silver to cover losses in other asset classes, or to cover, in this case, what appears to be a whole bunch of margin calls today, because people are always extending themselves beyond what they should be in all markets. And I got a couple comments that, this time is different. Gold and silver won't sell off. I agree. Metrics are different now than they were in 2007, 2008, 2009. And it's possible the gold and silver, as this market continues to come down, and it will come down in a straight line, right? Nothing happens in a straight line. It's likely to have some recovery days. But when you have comments from the administration like you're getting now, basically preparing the American people for what's going to be, a recessionary period, I personally, as a layperson, can't see how the markets would find a bottom just yet. All right, again, leave your comments below. If you're in the stock market, are you using this as a buying opportunity? Is there real blood in the streets yet, or are we just getting going, right? I guess it all depends on how overvalued you think, or maybe you don't think, the stock market has been over the past, let's say 24 or 36 months. I showed gold down $23 today. The gold and silver market are still open as of recording this video. Silver was down 1.3%. Gold fell 0.8%. So metals did not fall, let's say, at the pace that the overall markets did in cryptocurrencies. The 10-year bond was down 9 basis points. Obviously, a flight to safety. People buying bonds finished up at 4.22%. So that is what's going on with the, let's say, the markets as a snapshot. But let me talk to you about an article from CNBC I saw earlier. And it says, Trump says a transition period for the economy is likely. You can't really watch the stock market. And that's a CNBC article. I'm not sure if he said that on Maria Bartiromo's show on Sunday morning on Fox or not. It's possible I didn't capture that when I discussed it yesterday on the video. But it says President Donald Trump and other senior White House officials have spent the past several days bracing Americans for a potential economic slowdown that they say will then lead to stronger growth ahead. And that feeds into this idea, the narrative is now forming that the Trump administration is intentionally trying to crash the economy so they can build it back. And whether you subscribe to that theory or not, whether you support it, don't support it, that's what's getting put out there, and that's what's causing the sell-off in these markets, in my opinion. It says, asked whether he thinks a recession is imminent. Again, Trump said yesterday, I hate to predict things like that. He later added, look, we're going to have disruption, but we're okay with that. This is from the President of the United States. Look, we're going to have disruption, but we're okay with that. So leave your comments below. You stock market people, crypto market, right? Investors, are you okay with it? Do you think it's a no pain, no gain scenario? I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments. Says, while Trump used, and again, this goes back to what I was saying a little while ago about Trump in the first administration. It says, while Trump used Wall Street as a continuous barometer of his progress during his first term in office, he discouraged making it a yardstick this time round. Trump said, quote, what I have to do is build a strong country, he said. And again, sorry to be repetitive, you can't really watch the stock market. I had a kind of a follow-on article I saw from Zero Hedge that I wanted to share with you, but I don't want to go too long today. You guys can check it out for yourself. It says, is Trump trying to push the U.S. into a recession? And just briefly, it says 1 month ago when we, that's the author, first realized just how much fat Elon Musk's Doge was slashing from the government money laundering apparatus, we made a controversial at the time observation. So much money was about to come out of the economy, the U.S. would enter a recession, first in Washington, D.C., and then across the United States. It says, we were surprised at how much pushback we got, especially from supporters of Trump. But this wasn't meant to be a judgment call, it's according to the author, a judgment call against the new administration, which had only been in power for a few weeks. If anything, we'd explained long ago the only reason the U.S. economy hadn't collapsed into a recession long ago was because of Biden's unprecedented debt issuance spree. They say now that particular debt party appears to be ending. Again, that's what the author is saying. If you look at the sell-off in the markets, there's certainly something rattling the market, and it's a change in sentiment. And this one article I'm sharing with you now talks about it in terms of a phase shift. Okay, so slowly but surely, Wall Street's now admitting we were right. But what about the administration? It says, would Trump be surprised to learn that Musk's austerity push plus the administration's tariff policies would lead to a recession? Question mark. We wondered, and then we start paying closer attention to what Trump and his closest lieutenants were saying. And they talk about a statement from Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. He says, look, there is on Squawk Box. Look, there's going to be a natural adjustment as we move away from public spending to private spending. The market and the economy have become hooked, become addicted to excessive government spending, and there's going to be a detox period. And guys, and then of course you saw Trump coming out and saying there could be a little disruption. We're okay with that. Don't watch the stock market. So, I'll use the word hope, although I don't like that word, but I hope that those that are investors, those that have dry powder, or let's even say those that are putting money into retirement, that they are being cautious, understand the bigger picture right now. And this sentiment change and possibly this phase shift, right, which definitely could be an intended economic slashing or downturn, right, for whatever reasons, justified or not. I think this appears to be a reality that's shaping up. If you were to take anybody, which you have to use a grain of salt with that these days, but take anybody, at their word. But if you're in the markets, again, I guess you can say you only take the loss when you sell, right? So if you sell your stock in panic mode, if you sell your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your XRP when you're in panic mode, when there's blood in the streets, when you take that loss, okay, then you can say, yeah, I got slaughtered. Until you take that loss, you got to decide, do you ride it out and to what extent? It's the people that don't own the stuff outright. And I don't care whether it's stocks, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's gold and silver. I know people that go out and buy gold and silver using credit cards. You can't do that. You can't be on margin. You can't, if you don't have appropriate, let's say, downside hedges. Again, I'm not a market expert by any means, okay, or an economist. I'm not giving you financial advice. But to those people, greed kills, right? And the people that are margined out, always reaching for yield in a lower rate environment, there are risks. And those of, the subscribers of this channel and viewers of this channel, that I hear your comments, I read what you're saying, that are truly struggling just to make ends meet, truly struggling just to put gasoline in their car, to put food on the table for their family. So those people, I guess you're not worrying about this too much, right? Because you don't have any money to put in the stock market. You don't have any money to be buying cryptos. You probably, many of you don't have, I got a comment yesterday, $400 saved up for an emergency. So I don't want to say ignorance is bliss, because I'm sure that everybody, if you had the resources to be investing, you'd be doing that. Some people just fall on hard times. Some of you are say you've lost a job, or unfortunately you're about to lose a job. You may not even know it yet. So please just button down the hatches. What can you do? Start paying off debt as you can and stop taking on new debt, right? And that's assuming you don't have a dollar to be investing in any kind of other asset classes, stocks, bonds, cryptocurrencies, gold, silver, right? I know there's a huge segment of the population that's in that camp, okay? And so to you folks, please just stop buying stuff you don't need. Start paying down the debt to the extent that you can, even if it's $50 here, $25 there, to put towards a credit card balance. Just non-expert layperson advice. I'm going a little long today, but it's a big day. Okay, we got liquidation going on. Will this continue? Well, if the administration's narrative doesn't change, it's probably going to continue. Okay. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I'll be back throughout the week as we keep building on this theme. Hopefully there's a reprieve, but I'm not so sure it's going to be forthcoming. Talk to you all soon. Please don't neglect the health, the fitness, the diet. I try to share that, if I remember, every day on the channel. It's very, very important. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.